and we'll go through it. Okay. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girvaradhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girvaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girvaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girvaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jayo Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Shri Radhe Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev Thank God Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol हरि नाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय श्री श्री गौर निताय भगवान की जय जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल. So welcome once again all of you. I request if you could just switch on your camera for some time at least. I could see who all are there. That will be good. Thanks Himanshu Prabhu. And Prabhuji is driving still. Siddharth Prabhu, thank you so much. Others can also just for some time at least, if you can switch on your camera, if you are in a condition. Thank you Ravi Prabhu for joining. Manoj Prabhu, thank you so much for joining. Aditya Prabhu, thank you so much. Any other devotee would like to, because we are talking about Bhagavad Gita, it is not just impersonal talks. It is a personal talks between Arjuna and Krishna. Let us become personal and manifest ourselves on the Zoom. So it is a good opportunity, although we are doing it virtually. But if we switch on our camera, it looks like we are more attentive when we switch on our camera. We attend it more. We join the class more attentively. So let me just share my screen. Okay, let me just share my screen. Is my screen visible? Can anyone please confirm?
Yes,
Yes,
visible.
Prabhuji.
Thank you. And how many of you attended last class? You can raise your virtual hand, electronic hand, or you can write on the chat also. Okay. Noj Prabhu, Mehak, Mataji also attended. Only 2%? Okay. No worries. I mean, okay, Pankaj Prabhu, also you joined last classes. Thank you so much. Okay, and so all of us or rest, all of you could not join this class. Okay, no worries. So chapter 4 basically is divided into 4 sections. Let me just recap it. And the first 10 shlokas talks about the eternal education. This Bhagavad Gita is not new to this world. Actually, it was not given to Arjuna for the first time. It was given to Sun God many years, many millions years ago. And Arjuna was so confused, like how Krishna, you appear in this Dwapar Yuga, and you are saying like you gave this education to Sun God. And so then Krishna said, okay, Arjuna, I I take many births, but I remember all of them. But when you take birth, because Jiva, all of us also coming to this material world again and again, but due to our limitations, we do not remember our previous birth. In some cases, as we saw in chapter 2, as in reincarnation, some people remember their past lives for some times. So we see that. And then the accurate understanding. So now this is very important, and I would like to take few more minutes here. So how do we understand Bhagavad Gita? We see our senses are imperfect, and generally we tend to believe what we see, but all we see is not correct all the time. So let me just give you an example. Once there was this student, science student, and he was very enthusiastic to do the lab test. So just immediate after he did a lunch, and he came to the lab, and it was a sunny day in the summers, and the distance from hostel to lab was quite far. He was very tired, feeling sweaty, and feeling very thirsty. So what he saw in a jar, in a glass, there was some liquid was there, and some lemon were there. Lemon were cut it into pieces and thrown around the glasses. So he thought it's a lemon juice. Let me just drink it to conquer the thirst. So, but before he want to drink, he just wanted to confirm with the lab technician, like if he can drink or if it is for him. So he just went to the lab technician. He asked, look, okay, can I drink this lemon juice? And the technician was so shocked. He said, stop, you don't touch it. It's an acid. If you drink it, you'll have hole in your tongue. And the boy was very afraid. And he thought, oh, what was I going to do? So what he saw the lemon was around the glasses, and the mind calculated, okay, it's a lemon juice. So this is how, our senses works. We try to, connect the dots, and we try to make our own story. But we need to make one thing very sure. We need to, know the truth from the authorities. So the Vedic knowledge is to be received not via the eyes, but via the ears. So ears are the senses that we need to use to receive the Vedic knowledge. Just for example, if you want to know, let's say if somebody wants to know his or her father, so the authority would be mother. Mother can tell who the father is. But if someone says, okay, no, let me do DNA test. So if a DNA test takes 8 minutes, and the entire population of the male people, for the entire lifetime, he would not be able to know who the father is. So if we take the knowledge from the authority, we get the right knowledge. Similarly, the knowledge about the Supreme Lord, who is our eternal Father, Hana, who can tell us the mother. Scriptures are our mother. So we need to know about the Father via the mother, and that is the scriptures. So Bhagavad Gita also tells us how to understand and take this knowledge. Now we are entering to this chapter 5, and this entire chapter is divided into 4 sections again. The first, and for the acronyms are STEPs, STEP for you remember, for you to be remember. The S stands for stay in the world. We will know what it mean. And then T stands for three doer. So far we understand, or we consider ourselves as a doer. Like we are the responsible for everything, whatever is being done or happening, we are the pillar behind it. But we would know like how the things are happening. There are three doers. E is an equal vision, or what happens to how do we see the things when we see knowledge. And P is a peaceful formula. So what is the real formula for the peace? So far, what happens in chapter 5 again starts with the questions, and that question is similar to that was asked in chapter 3. So far, what happened? Krishna, in the chapter 2, first Arjuna gave Sankhya Yoga, or the knowledge of the soul. And Krishna also tell Buddhi Yoga is the process, to get out of this entanglement. Once we are not this body, we know our real identity. From the chapter 2, we understand we are the eternal soul. Somehow we are encaged in this body and we are stuck in this material world. And Krishna tells in the 2nd chapter, okay, Buddhi Yoga is the process to get out of this material world or this entanglement. And then in chapter 3, Krishna explains, okay, a person who works on the platform of knowledge has no longer any duty to perform. It means Krishna telling somebody who has acquired the jnana has no longer any duties to perform. So Arjuna thinks, oh, okay, it means, if somebody acquires the jnana, or he thinks like the renunciation of karma, he's considering jnana as a renunciation of karma. So if somebody has acquired the jnana, it means he doesn't have to perform any karma. But in chapter 4 again, what happens? Krishna tells Arjuna, Krishna glorify the jnana in 441 and 439 also, if we see. So Krishna in 439 says like you can attain the peace by attaining the jnana. Then Arjuna thinks, oh, it means the peace can only be attained if I renunciate my activities. It means somebody doesn't have to do any karma. And in 41 again also, Krishna says, okay, Arjuna, again, Krishna is glorifying jnana. But in 442, Krishna says, but Arjuna, for you, karma yoga is the best. Krishna is recommending karma yoga best. Now, what happens? Arjuna is so confused. What to do? Isn't it? If somebody tells us 2 options, this is also good, but for you, this is good. At one time or at the one place, Krishna is saying renunciation or the acquiring of jnana is the best way to attain peace. But Krishna is recommending karma to Arjuna. So in this chapter, Arjuna asks Krishna about this contradiction. Okay. And Krishna explains how renunciation and work are not opposite but could be integrated. So this is very, very important thing to understand. At times we think, okay, if you want to achieve the perfection, or if we want to get the liberation, we need to take a renunciation. But that is a false theory. So now Krishna is giving a more clear, giving his view about what is better. So first of all, we have to understand, Krishna will clarify in this chapter the renunciation of work and work in devotion is not different, but they can be integrated. and Krishna will explain what is this karma yoga process altogether. So the first shloka starts with Arjuna's question. Arjuna vacha sannyasam karma nam Krishna punar yogam cha samsasi yachreya eta yorekam tanme bruhi sunishchitam. Krishna, tell me for definitely what is better. It is a sannyasa or karma yoga or work in devotion. So now Arjuna, he asked the same question in chapter 3. If you remember, or after this class, you can go back and check chapter 3, shlok sankhya number 1 and 2. The similar question was asked, what is better, renunciation or karma? But now Arjuna is asking for definitely tell me. Now I have become so much confused. I really do not know what to do. So tell me for sure what is good for me and what is best. Okay. So now this is where the this chapter starts, and now Krishna is answering Arjuna's question. So from shloka number 2 to shloka number 6, Krishna tells about what is better, what is good for Arjuna, and then from and that is Niskam Karma Yoga. And from shlok number 7 to 12, Krishna will tell the qualities of Nishkam Karma Yoga. How a person, what are the characteristics, and how does he work in Nishkam Karma Yoga? And from shloka sankhya number 13 to 16, each chapter section 2 starts, which is a 3-doer, and then 17 to 28 is the equal vision, and the last shloka 29, which is the peace formula. So this is how it will go. So now Krishna start telling Arjuna about what is better. So in the chapter, in shloka number 2, Krishna tell karma yoga is better than renunciation. Okay. So Krishna says renunciation of work and working with detachment are both good for liberation, but out of the two, karma yoga is better. Hold on, I'm just getting a call. Just hold on. Sorry for the distraction. So Krishna, in the sloka sankhya number 2, Krishna is clarifying this doubt, Arjuna. Karma yoga is better than renunciation. But Krishna says actually they are both same, but for you, like people like us, karma yoga is better, and we'll take some moment and then discuss like what is actually about. So we have to understand how renunciation works. Renunciation of work means if we work, we will get a reaction and we will untangle. So renunciation of work means we doesn't want to do any activity which again bound us into this material world. So this is how people think, and then immaturely they take some renunciation, but their minds are keep engaging in those activities. So Krishna says, and we have to understand this fact, until the heart is purified, we cannot live on the principle of renunciation, because our mind will keep us pushing to the sense objects. Externally, we try to, restrict the senses from the sense object, but internally, we keep thinking about those objects. So that is where we have to understand this renunciation won't work. And then we see many people, those who claim, but their behavior, their characteristics, they're not up to that level of renunciation. So Krishna says, so that is why Krishna is recommending Arjuna, and via Arjuna, all of us. So if somebody thinks, if I'm not this body, I'm soul, and by doing my actions, I am keep, getting entangled. So better I take an renunciation of work. But here Krishna is not recommending renunciation of work, but working in a spirit of renunciation. It means working with the detachment of fruits of the work. So that we have to understand a demarcation here. It is not the renunciation of work, it is working in a spirit of renunciation, as if we are not the responsible for the fruits of that action. So there is a minor difference. I hope you are getting it. And if you understand it, it will really help us. So Krishna will again further clarify this. So in chapter, in shloka number 3, Krishna tells what actually is the characteristics of a person like who lives on the who takes a renunciation of work. So it says a constant sannyasi or renunciant is one who neither hates nor desire the fruits of his action. He neither hates nor desire. Now we have to understand this is the definition of a sannyasi. So if we work with the spirit of renunciation, it means with the detachment of fruit, we are not hating the fruits and we are not aspiring for it. We are not desiring it. So the definition which Krishna is giving for the renunciation is best fit when we work in devotion, when we work as a Nishkam Karam Yogi. And Shlok Sankhya number 4 and 5, then Krishna says they are actually both same. Let me just go to the next slide. Yeah. So here we see Krishna recommend the spirit of renunciation in work, which is sannyasa in karma, but not renunciation of work. We don't have to take sannyasa from karma, but we have to work in the spirit of renunciation. This is the karma yoga. So at times people get confused. They says we are doing the karma yoga. Karma yoga is better, and it is all about karma. But we have to understand what is actually the karma, and there is a difference between karma and karma yoga. Karma is something we do for the with the expectation of result, and we think ourselves as a doer of that result. Whatever we get, it is because of me. I did so much hard work. That is what I get my fruit. So we will see the difference between these two further. And in shloka number 4 and 5, Krishna further says, actually karma yoga and sannyasa are same, and anyone like who actually anyone who performs one of these completely attains the result of both, and that actually who is the actual seer. So they are not different, actually they are same, pointing to the same target. So let us now understand what is the renunciation or the karam sannyasa or jnana yoga or sankhya yoga. What it means sankhya yoga or karam sannyasa means analytical studies of this material world, material body, and the spirit soul. So when someone start analyzing these elements, oh, so this is the material world, this is not the real world, and I am not this body, I am the soul, then what will happen? It will lead one to actually the result would be someone will take a renunciation from its material activities. Then somebody would like to perform the actions for the soul, because the real identity soul is somebody understand I'm not this body, I'm soul. So he will try to restrict the material action, and this is the renunciation of karma will start. And what will happen? So somebody will try to find the root of all this existence. If this material world is false, then what is the real thing? Somebody will try to find, and that is Lord Krishna or Vishnu. So the ultimate goal of Karam Sannyasa is to reach to the understanding of the real truth, absolute truth is Krishna. Okay, now what is the Niskam Karam Yoga? When someone is in a perfect understanding, so when somebody understand I am part and parcel of the Lord, and somebody perform his activities for the pleasure of Lord, and without thinking, without being attached to the result. So now he is also doing the activities for the sake of Krishna or the Lord. So they both are same. However, there is a minor difference. In the renunciation of work, it's a process of detachment. But the Niskam Karam Yoga is the process of attachment. You getting my point? So in the Nishkam Karam Yoga, you are being attached to the Lord, and the detachment comes automatically. However, in the renunciation of work, people has to externally detach himself from the actions. And as I said, until the heart is purified, we cannot perform detached work because our senses, our mind will agitate. It will keep dragging us to those activities. So that is why Krishna is saying, and it is more clear in the next verse number 6. So Krishna is saying, mere renunciation is difficult and distressful without performing Niskam Karam Yoga. It means if somebody is getting attached to the Lord, it is very, very difficult to get detached from the material actions. That is why Krishna is saying you don't have to hold the ear like this. It is very easy process, है ना? So ऐसे घुमा फिरा के हमें कान पकड़ने की जरूरत नहीं है. It is a very direct method. So we have to understand Niskam Karam Yoga is a way ahead. And it is said here, as I was explaining, what is this, all these processes. So first we analytically study the material body and the soul. And then what it happens, it leads us to the detachment of material activities. And this knowledge ultimately leads one to find Krishna, the root of everything. So ultimately we are going to find the root of everything. And in the karma yoga or nishkam karam yoga, we know we are part and parcel of the Lord, and we do everything as a servant of the Lord for the pleasure of Lord. So now here we have some slides to understand in deep about Niskam Karam Yoga. So what is the perfect knowledge? Perfect knowledge is I am not this material body, I am soul, and I am part of parcel of Supreme Lord. I want to render service to him. I will work in a detached spirit. See, we have to understand, just by changing this consciousness, we do not get bound to our actions. Although our activities remain same, we go to the same office, we take care of our children, we feed them. Whatever we are doing the same. It's a matter of consciousness. It is not the activity which bound us, but the intention, the consciousness by which we perform that activities, that bound us. I hope you getting me. It is not the activity, but the consciousness behind that activity which bound us to this material world. Okay? When you work, when you perform an action with the full knowledge, you are not this body, you are spirit, your spirit soul, and the action is being done. You know, it will be more clear when we talk about the three doers, how this action is being performed. Action is being performed with a, by the force of material nature, by the modes of material nature that we acquire. We are not the ultimate doer of all our activities. Okay, so in this example, we can see there are many people, and whatever sphere of life, in any era of life and any stages of life, whatever we are doing, whatever our profession is, we can keep ourselves engaged in the activities, in the devotional services. So either we are an engineer or a doctor, a policeman, a teacher, student, whatever we are, we can perform, we can live a life which take us to the Supreme Lord. And the same thing we are doing, we don't have to change our occupation. The same occupation we can keep doing, but the consciousness, we can, change our consciousness. So let us see in a more detail. So who is a Niskam Karma Yogi? If somebody asks you, and then if somebody asks, so in this case, currently, if I ask you, who are you? So many of you will say, I'm a doctor, I'm a software engineer, I'm a chartered accountant, I'm a teacher, I'm this and that. So these all are the designation of the body, but we are not this body. We are eternal soul. So our consciousness should be, I am a servant of Lord. The same consciousness who had this? Hanumanji. है ना? What work you do? I do the work which is allotted by the God. I have my family. It is not my family. The children's, they are, gift of God, and It is my responsibility to give them an environment so that they can, get back again connected to the Lord. So this should be our consciousness. It is not, we should not think I am their, I am their, the ultimate maintainer. Because of me, their life is being maintained. So this is a false and the wrong perception and the attitude. Then how do you work? I work hard with sincerity, dedication to my best abilities. Being a Nishkam Karam Yogi doesn't mean because we are not attached to the result, but it doesn't mean we do not work with full dedication, sincerity. We have to work with full dedication, with full sincerity, because we understand we are performing our activities for the pleasure of Lord, for the Supreme. We are not trying to satisfy our boss. We are not trying to just run the business to maintenance of family. The ultimate goal of our life to satisfy the Lord. For example, in this slide, there are two people we see here. One is the gardener and other is a carpenter. So let's say this the gardener. So the landlord gave him the land and he asked him to, grow the flowers. So he does his work very sincerely with full dedication and gives them water every day on time, and everything takes care of with the disease a plant may acquire. So everything taken care by him properly. And at the last, when the flower comes, he thinks, oh, very nice flower. These are for me. I am the master of this flower. So when he thinks like that, he's a cheater, isn't it? Because the land he's getting the salary for the work he's doing, and the land, anything, everything, the seeds, everything was given by the landlord. But at the end, when the flowers, the fruit comes, we think, or the gardener thinks, it belongs to me. I did so much hard work. Is it a right understanding? Just think about it. Is it a right understanding? Or giving back these flowers to the master? Can anyone would like to write in the chat? What is the right understanding? So if a gardener thinks this flower, he's the owner, he's the master of these flowers, and the flowers belongs to him. So is it a right understanding or a wrong understanding? Can somebody would like to? I hope you are listening because your video is off. So okay, Swati Mataji is saying it's a wrong understanding. Wrong understanding. Okay, Rishi Prabhu is also confirming. Correct. Because everything provided by, let us take another example of a carpenter. Let's say you hire a carpenter, you give him the raw wood, all the tools, all the equipments, and when he makes the furniture, a very good furniture come out. And he claims, no, this furniture belongs to me. What would be your reaction? What would be your action? Would you say, are you mad? How can this belongs to you? I gave you everything, isn't it? He should give flowers to the landlord. Okay, yes. So similarly, we can see in practical life, if we hire a carpenter, we ask him to make furniture, we give him everything, and when the furniture comes out, the carpenter claims, no, this is my furniture, I made it. Is it right understanding? Would you accept it? Can you confirm on the chat? So that, I understand there are people. Okay, you would not, yes, we would not, definitely, it's an obvious, right? We would not accept it. Now just think about from the perspective of this creation. Who gave this? Air, water, all the minerals, everything. Who provides that? Is there a single eatable things that is being manufactured in the factory? Any fruits, any vegetable, any dairy products? We can, make use of them, and we can, make the different dishes. But anything, all of these things provided by the Lord. Gold, silver, potassium, magnesium, whatever you say, you name it, everything is being provided by the God. So who is the ultimate master? Just think about it. We made a home, we purchase a land, we buy all the manufacturing material, we build a home and we claim, oh, I am the owner of this home. Isn't it the same thing? Who provided all this material? Who gave? Just think about it. The iron you are making, the steel, whatever, from where it is coming? It is provided by the Lord. We are just making use of it. So we should always remain in a consciousness. We are using the resources provided by the Lord, and it is provided for the facilities so that we can use and we can, we can thank Lord. For example, how would you feel? Like, say, you bring a chocolate, you are getting late from office, you bring some chocolates, candies for your kids, and you have a little son or a daughter, and your little child, when you give him a chocolate, he becomes very happy. And by seeing happiness in his or her face, you become more happy. And now imagine the little child coming towards you and sit on your lap and say, Papa, ये chocolate आप खाओ ना please. Papa, ये chocolate आपके लिए है. ये chocolate मैं आपके लिए लाया हूँ. It will, enhance your pleasure manifold. But the chocolate brought by you, but now the same chocolate is being offered to you by your child. How much love you would feel for him or her? Do you understand? It's a similar situation. Everything given to us by the Supreme Lord. And when we offer as a gratitude, and the Lord becomes very happy. Oh, my child is offering me this. See how nice he is. And we do not get a reaction of that also. So this is, this is an art of living. And not only we, in ISKCON, we understand the Bhagavad Gita not only teaches us the art of living, but the art of dying also. Because it is said, at the time of death, whatever our emotions, whatever our feelings are, we get the similar kind of body. And one who remembers the Lord at the end, Ante Narayana Simrati, one who remembers the Lord at the end attains the supreme abode of the Lord. So, when we spend our entire life by remembering Lord, by saying thanks to Him for each of our activity, we offer all the fruits to the Lord. So why not at the end we will remember the Lord? But if we do not do this, it is not possible to remember the Lord at the end. If we keep engaging in all this material activity with the consciousness, I am the doer, I did this, I built a big home, I acquired all this wealth. Anyway, you are not taking a single penny with you. We falsely claim the ownership, the proprietorship of all this wealth, but at the end, it will remain there. But what we could do, we can make a best use of it by offering it to the Lord. That way, we do not get the reaction also, and our consciousness, our heart gets purified. So this is an art. Okay, let's move forward. What do you do with the results? I hand it over to the God. Okay. I think we have discussed this. Shift your attitude from doership to divine. As I said, this is about our attitude, about our consciousness. This is the main problem actually. If we see, this is a root cause of it. I did it. The false ego. I am the responsible for this. So it bound us. Actually, everything is given by the Lord. Let's say, for example, Einstein. Einstein is an genius of this millennium. But who gave him this brain, such an intelligence? Can we do one thing? Can we just pull out his brain and fit it into another's one? And he performs with the same intelligence? It is not possible. So, let me just tell you one story. So in Pandharpur, there was a farmer, okay, who used to make the deities, vigrah, भगवान की मूर्तियां बनाता था वो मिट्टी से. And he used to carry all those vigraha, all the deities on his bullock cart, and the bullock cart was being pulled by the donkey. The donkey used to think whenever on the way, people used to pay their obeisances. हर कोई देख के प्रणाम करता था. And the donkey was falsely thinking, oh, see, I'm the big man. Everyone is paying obeisances to me. And actually, people were paying obeisances to the deities, which was being carried on that cart. One day, that farmer did not, could not, or he did not made all those vigrahs, and he was going empty. He was not carrying this vigrah on his cart. So no one was paying his obeisances, and the donkey was little worried, and he was confused. Why? What happened today? Why no one is paying obeisances? So this happened with all of us. We are thinking ourselves actually the responsible for all of whatever we have. We are thinking it is happening because of us. We do not see the real hand. So we falsely thinking everything is happening because of us. So false ego, or the feeling of I did it, is the problem. We can't do anything on our own without the God's sanction. We have to understand this point. So let's say there is a cricket match, and there's a player who practiced very well. He is in good form. But day before the match, during the practice session, his leg, he gets fracture in his leg. What happens? You getting the point? We are not the controller of the things. Nothing can be controlled or sanctioned until God sanction it. So things may change. We are not the controller of whatever is happening around our surroundings. So let me again tell you a story. There was a lady. Her husband gifted her a nose ring. Actually, he went to Gulf areas and he brought a very good heavy-weighted nose ring for her. And she went to a party, and as usual, I mean, we do a show off, and we want to get an praise for whatever good we have. So that lady was showing his nose ring to all of her friends, and they were saying, oh, you have got such a good nose ring. And she was glorifying her husband. My husband went to Gulf for a job, and she brought this ring, or bought this ring from there. So in this entire consciousness, she was either praising the ring or her husband. But the nose where the ring was, where this ring was attached, who gave this nose? She was not even, nobody was thinking. Who gave this nose? So if we do not have this nose, can we wear this nose ring? So we have to think. We just do not have to attach with the material vision. We should actually praise the Lord for whatever we have, because everything is given by so the nose actually given by the Lord. You getting my point? So nothing happens without the permission of the Lord. And so there is a famous saying, without the permission of Lord, even a leaf doesn't move. And from where this saying came, actually, once upon a time there was an war between Devtas and Asuras, and Devtas won that war. And when they were going home, they were very puffed up of their victory, as we usually do. We glorify ourselves. Let's say if we get some appreciation, promotion in our job, so in front of our children, our wife, we make so many stories. This year was a hard time. I did so much, and this project was a little tough. I did this, and that is why we are here. I got this promotion. So similarly, all these devtas were, Vayudev was, I did so many, I blown everything. And similarly, Varun Dev, I did so much Varsa. So all these, and then this, because Lord knows everything. So Krishna took an, incarnation of, he came in a form of a Brahmana with a little grass, a grass blade, ghas ka tinka in his hand. And he called all of these devtas and he said, "Oh, Varun Dev, you have so much power. You, in this war, you did so much effort. Can you just please, blown away this little grass blade?" Vayudev tried his best. Even a single he could move. Grass came. Agnidev came. He could not burn out this grass blade. Devtas were, and Indradev was coming, and he asked like, "What is, why there is so much crowd?" And so this Brahmana came, and then Indradev, was standing there and looking, and then that Brahmana converted into the Vishnu form, and then he said, and then all the devtas were so much embarrassed, and that they understood nothing can happen without the will of Lord. They understood this fact, and from that day, the saying is, "Bhagwan ki marji ke bina patta bhi nahi hilta." So we have to understand this fact. It is with the mercy of Lord, then anything which happens, it's sanctioned by the Lord, and we will understand this in more detail. And there are many uncertainties in this world, as I was saying, the example of this cricketer. Eliminate false ego and doership feeling while doing work as a faithful servant of the God. Don't take any credit for the work done. Humbly surrender the reward to the Lord. That we see. We have to develop this habit to say thanks to the Lord and offer the fruit to the Lord. Okay. What should be the motivation for the work? As I said, until the heart is purified, we cannot renunciate our karma. Okay. So the motivation is for the purification of heart. And everything is ultimately done by the God only. We'll see in more detail this thing. I am not indispensable, that we have discussed. I am not helping God or others. Hence, any egocentric feeling of helping others should be totally eliminated. Sometimes it may so happen we develop this feeling, okay, I am doing something, but actually we have to understand we are just a little instrument in this entire circle. So now we discussed in the first 6 lokas, Niskam Karam Yoga, how to perform on Niskam Karam Yoga, what should be our consciousness, and what is the difference between a karma and a karma yoga. And now these are the from slok number 7 to 13, we are going to discuss what happens while we perform the Niskam Karam Yoga. So practical application is like when one in knowledge understand his incompatibility with material nature and thus acts only for purification, unattached to the material results. The only thing is why we have to work, the motivation should be we need to purify ourselves. For example, the natural tendency of iron is to get attracted towards a magnet, isn't it? If you have an iron and if you keep it near to magnet, it will get attracted. But what happens if you wrap the iron rod with a cloth and you put so many covering there? So now it will no more attracted to the magnet. But what happens if you keep, unwrap, again it will start attracting to the magnet. Similar is the situation with us. We have a natural loving relationship with the Lord, but because we have become contaminated in this material world, we have been coming again and again by taking birth to this material world. So this wrapping of cloth is, happening over. So we have to, unwrap. So purification of heart means unwrapping of this cloth from a iron rod. So once we are totally unwrapped, once we are totally purified, we will again come to in our natural loving tendency. So we will again re-establish our loving relationship with the Lord. Okay. So in Shlok Sankhya number 7, Krishna says, whoever perform Niskam Kram Yoga never entangles. So what it is said here? Yoga Yukto Vishud Atma Vijit Atma Jitendriya Sarva Bhutatma Karvanam Api na Lipyate. What does it mean? Yoga Yukta Vishuddhatma. One who works in devotion, who is a pure soul. है ना? Vijit Atma Jitendriya. And who control his mind and senses. Sarv Bhutatma. Such a person is dear to everyone and everyone is dear to him. And Kurvan Api na Lipyate. Though he is always working, but he is never entangled. काम करते हुए भी कभी वो लिप्त नहीं होता. So this is the beauty of Yoga Yukta. And how does it happen? Because a Yoga Yukta or a Karma Yogi always consider himself as a part and parcel of the Lord. And we know the branches and the leaves are the part of tree. And if someone water the roots, the water will reach to all the branches and the leaves, isn't it? So, if we develop our loving relationship with the Lord, it is natural we will develop our loving relationship with all the living entities because they are part and parcel of the Lord. Just think about it, how wonderful it is. We want to establish the peace. United Nations is working so hard, but they are not able to reach to that level. Why? It is because we are not connecting with the root. The root is, if we understand we are part and parcel of Krishna, then where is the question of you and me? Because everyone is the same, because everyone is part and parcel of the Lord. So there will be a harmony. So we have to understand this fact. Now in the Shlok number 8 and 9, Krishna says, a Karma Yogi, although he's a doer, yet non-doer. What does it mean? He doesn't get, actually, the work he does is being done by the modes of nature. He's not the doer. Why? Because he does not consider himself as an, doer. He does not attach with this activity. He does not perform the activities with a desire of the fruit. Although a Karma Yogi, although seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, eating, moving about, sleeping, always knows that the material senses are interacting only with the sense object. And because he is the soul, so he is aloof from it. So that is the real understanding. So now, having said that, Karma Yogi is not the doer of the action, yet does the actions. Okay? So Krishna explained what motivates him and why he performs these actions. So now the link is here. Work for the motivation is he works for the supreme with a detachment. So what it is, it's an important shloka. Brahmane adha karmani sangam tvekta karotiya lipyatena sa papena padma patram ivambasa. So what it is saying? Brahmane adha karmani. One who offers results of his action to the Supreme. Okay? While performing his duties without attachment. Sangam tvekta karotiya. Performing his duty without attachment. Lipyate na sa papena. His unaffected by the sins while doing his actions. Because कर्म करते हुए उसका रिएक्शन आएगा, लेकिन वो उससे अनअफेक्टेड रहता है. जैसे कि पद्मा पत्रम इवाम बसा, जैसे कि जो लोटस लीफ है वो पानी से इंपैक्टेड नहीं होती है ना. लोटस लीफ इज अनटच्ड बाय द वाटर. यहां भगवान एग्जांपल दे रहे हैं लोटस लीफ का. सिमिलरली वी हैव टू परफॉर्म. ओके, नाउ as we said, like why he works. So because when he offers, what happens when he offers it, he becomes purified. Atma Shuddhate. In the next shloka, Krishna is saying Atma Shuddhate, for the purification of the soul. So when we offer the result to the Lord, we become purified. And as a summary, Krishna says, a karma yogi attains unadulterated peace. Santim apnoti nashtikam. Unadulterated peace. तो ये जो शांति की बात हो रही है, दिस इज है ना ब्रह्मभूत स्टेज, है ना. सो if we do not offer a result to the Lord, if we are a karma yogi, then we work with the desire of the fruit, and we again entangle to the material world. But if we become a karma yogi, we get detached with the result, and we offer the fruit to the Krishna, and hence we become liberated. We do not get attached to the fruits. So now here is example of Maharaj Gaya is given here from the Srimad Bhagavatam. How did he rule? He provided sufficient food to his praja, distributed gifts, called meetings, everything he does as part of his administration. But how he was doing? He was doing for the pleasure of Lord, as in duty. And this is given in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, chapter 15, verse number 7. Now we are in the section 2, 3 doers. So 3 doers, now it will give you more insight, and if you provoke more thinking. So far we are thinking whatever is being done, we are the doer. But that is a wrong understanding, my dears. So there are 3 doers. So there are 3 doers. The soul, which are the jiva, our real self. Second is the material nature. And the third is Lord. And what is the equation? Any action which happened. So how the cycle happens? The jiva or the living entity, the ourself, we desire, Lord sanction, and the material nature fulfills it. So whatever we deserve, as per, we may desire so many things. We may desire, we may become Ambani, we may become the richest person of the Lord, of this world. But whatever we deserve, based on that, or based on the previous karmas, the Krishna sanctions, and it is being fulfilled by the material nature. Let's say there's a child, okay, and he wants certain objects. For example, let's say he wants a balloon. So he requests his mother, and he's crying, and his mother says, okay, and asks father, and the father sanction it, and the mother gives this balloon to the child. So some people think everything is happening by the material nature, and everything is happening based on, some people say, okay, if we get everything based on our karma, then what is the role of God? It may so happen, people may think about that, but we have to think the Krishna is the ultimate approver. Material nature is not working independently. Krishna says this material, in Bhagavad Gita chapter 7, we will read, this material nature works under my supervision. And Krishna also says, Devi aisa gunamayi mam maya durataya mayam evam tarantite mam evi prapadante mayam evam tarantite. So this material nature is very, very strong. But one who surrender into me can cross it easily. So now we have to understand, we are not the ultimate doer. We desire things, we do some endeavor, but ultimately once Krishna sanction it, then we get the result. So here is an example given of Muhammad Ali. He was a great boxer, and then he was suffered with a Parkinson disease, and then in that disease he could not even hold a cup of tea. So he used to think, I am the superpower, I am the greatest boxer. But we see nothing is in the hand of Jiva. And similarly, we think a lot of I can get my work done. If I work 18 hours, I can do this and that. So we make so many plans, but we have to think, we may make plans, we have to definitely work hard, but we should not think ourselves as the, giver of the result. And this is from the India today. The suicide rate has increased 3 times. Now we move to the section 3, which is the equal vision, or what happens when somebody surrenders to the Lord. Liberation by focusing on the Lord. So Shlok Sankhya number 17, it says, Tad buddhyas tad atmanas tad nisthas tad paryanaha gachanti apnur avratem jnana nirduta kalmasha. It says, when one's intelligence, mind, faith, and refuge are all fixed in me, means in the Krishna or the Supreme. Buddhyas matlab intelligence, atmanas matlab mind, nishthas matlab faith, and the tat pranatyas matlab refuge. When everything is fixed in Krishna or the Supreme, then what happens? Jnana niruddhata kalmasha. One becomes cleansed of the misgivings through knowledge. Jnana, through knowledge, one becomes cleansed. है ना? And what happens? Gachanti apnur avritim. Then what happens? Then one proceed to the path of liberation. Okay? What happens when we focus on the Lord? We proceed to the path of liberation. And then it says, okay, if somebody focus with a fixed mind, what is his vision? Then vision is Vidya Vinaya Sampane Brahmane Gavi Hastane Suni Chaiva Sava Pakshe Cha Pandita Samadarshina. So one who is a learned, how the vision of such a person, he sees soul in every living entity. For example, the example given, a learned man sees a Brahman, Gavi means guy, Hastani means elephant, Hathi, Suni means dog, Kutta, and Swapake. Swapake means dog eater. So he sees all of them with an equal vision. Equal vision. He does not deal with them equally, but he sees them equally as in part and parcel of Krishna. And then Shlok Sankhya 19 tells us, when somebody sees on that platform, he comes to the Brahman platform and conquer the birth and death. And Shlok Sankhya number 20 and 21 tells us the symptoms of such a person. Like for example, what are the symptoms of such a person? He has a fixed intelligence, Sthir Buddha, unbewildered, knows the science of God. So all such symptoms. Okay. And what happens? So detachment from external enjoyment. When it happens, when somebody has an understanding, this material senses only gives us distress. And that is why Krishna is speaking this shloka. Ye hi samsparja bhoga dukha yonya evata adi anta bhakonteya na tesu ramte buddha. What Krishna is saying, the enjoyment arising from the senses, when the senses interact with the sense object, is the only source of distress. Why Krishna is saying, जो pleasure हमें senses से आ रहा है, जब वो sense objects से deal करती है, is the source of distress, because such pleasure has a beginning and the end. And Krishna is saying, an intelligent person, Buddha matlab buddhiman, an intelligent person doesn't take delight in them. So Krishna is telling, if somebody knows the enjoyment that we derive from the senses is not the real pleasure, so such a person actually does not take delight in them. But somebody may say, okay, okay, we understand the sense pleasure is not the ultimate pleasure, but the urges to enjoy the from the senses is still there. Then Krishna says, okay, you have to control, you have to tolerate those urges. Here Krishna is saying in the slok sankhya number 23, what is Krishna is saying? If one is able to tolerate the urges of the senses, kab tak? Prag sarira vimokshata, until one is leaving this body. If somebody tolerates those sense urges, what happens? Sa yukta sa sukhi nara. Such a person lives happily in this material world and thereafter also in the next life. And the link is to the next shloka: tolerating agitation and retiring from external engagements that give superficial happiness are possible when one has a higher taste or relish happiness within. Now the question is, we know the sense pleasure is actually source of distress, but we know the senses also, we have the sense urges. So how can we control that? So Krishna is saying, the one who take delight inside, anto sukha, है ना, antar jyotir, who sees inside, who takes pleasure inside, है ना. So we need to give higher taste to the senses. We also learned this thing in chapter 2, and the same thing Krishna is telling here. Okay, and then Krishna is saying sadhana for attaining liberation, to get the it says labhante brahm nirvan. So brahm nirvan ke liye kya what is necessary? Rishya shina kalmasha. Shina kalmasha matlab kalmasha matlab distress, or you can say sins. Yeah, freedom from sins. Shina matlab शीड हो जाता है जिसके कलमस, is the freedom from the sins. And chinna dveda matlab dvand, dualities, जो freedom from the dualities. And then jatmanaha, है ना, the minds being engaged within, sarva bhuta hite rata, working for everyone's welfare. So when we acquire this quality, we, these are the qualities to attain the liberation. And the next two slokas, in slok number 26, Krishna is sure what happens to the person who does these activities. So Krishna is assuring here. So one can attain liberation very soon. Krishna is assuring by being free from the anger and material desires. Kama krodha vimuktanam. The first line, kama krodha vimuktanam, controlling mind, yata chetsam, sincerely endeavoring for perfection with self-discipline and being self-realized with Atmana. So Krishna यहाँ पे assure कर रहे हैं, जो ये effort करता है ना, soon he attains the liberation. So this is very, very important to understand. तो हम क्या होते हैं, इस भौतिक शरीर में रहते हुए भी मुक्त हो जाते हैं. Then we attain that liberation. We do not get entangled to the reactions of this, of whatever action we are doing. Slok number 27 and 28 tells about Ashtanga Yoga, which is a connection to the next chapter, chapter 6, where the Ashtanga Yoga will be discussed in detail. And then the last shloka of this chapter is 29, which is the peace formula. Bhuktaram yagya tapsam sarva loka maheshwaram suhridam sarva bhutanam gyatva mam santim rachati. Bhuktaram yagya tapsam. Bhuktaram matlab I am the supreme enjoyer of all the yagyas, sacrifices and austerities. Sarva loka maheshwaram. I am the supreme proprietor of all the planets and all the demigods. Suhridam sarva bhutanam. I am the well-wisher of all the living entities. Gyatva mam santim rachati. One who knows this attains peace. This is a peace formula. अगर हमें ये पता चल जाए कि Lord is the ultimate controller, we are part and parcel of the Krishna, we are part and parcel of the Lord, and everything is controlled by the material nature. We are not the controller. So क्या होगा? This will bring peace into the human society. This is a peace formula. We have to understand that, as I was saying, if every one of us or all of this humanity, we can connect with the real ourselves to the Lord. So no, and then that this, there is so many fight with the religions. Actually, all the religions, any religion, if it is giving this message, we are part and parcel of the Lord, and our ultimate goal of life is to develop that loving relationship with the Lord, then we do not have any problem with so many religions. But the problem comes when there is an, ulterior motives. The real motives, the knowledge from all the scriptures gets, destroyed, and ulterior motives, there are peoples like who represents their literatures or the scriptures in a different manner. But the real peace formula is, what is the real peace formula? We have to understand Krishna, Lord, is the supreme enjoyer. He is the ultimate proprietor, and he is the well-wisher for all of us. If we bring this understanding into our life, then we will not get, dissatisfied at any point of our time. So we will remain satisfied even after our effort. We do not get the result, we will not commit suicide, because we know we are not the ultimate doer. We do not control everything. Doing effort is in our control, but bringing the success or the result is not in our control. But we see this is what happens. ऐसे ही होता है ना, हम देखते हैं suicide rates is happening, kids are not able to handle dissatisfactions or the failure. This is why the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is very, very important in our human society, and we should take it. So with this, I'll close this, and already we are 2 minutes over. So if anyone has any question, you can ask. Okay, you can either write on chat, or you can raise your hand, you can ask your questions. Okay, seems all clear. So no worries. We will open the group for some time. If you encounter any questions, you can post it over there also. Thank you very much, and Pankaj Prabhu, special thanks to you. Throughout the entire class, you had your camera on, and I understand all of you, due to some reasons, you could not switch on your camera. But my suggestion and request to you for the next classes, try to sit in the class with your camera on. Consider it as a classroom, as a real class that you are attending from the temple or in a seminar hall. So it will give you more insight. You will feel more connected. Once again, thank you so much for listening. Bhagavad Gita Yatharoop ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so very much. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Pankaj Prabhu, and thank you, Rishi Prabhu, for your kind words.